that our final communication vehicle with our smokers is the pack itself, the tobacco pack itself. In the absence of any other marketing messages, our packaging is the sole communicator of a brand essence. So, so this is what the tobacco industry guy had said, and rightly so, because they use the tobacco packs to as a marketing vehicle, and to hit the industry, the marketing of the industry is this is plain packaging is definitely going to have a lot more impact. Without any further ado, let us go straight to our to the session, to the press conference, and I will hand over to Dr. Tharafi. Dr. Tharafi is the technical advisor of International Union Against Tuberculosis and Lung Disease, the union in Myanmar. Dr. Tharafi, over to you. Dr. Tharafi. Dr. Tharafi is on mute. Dr. Tharafi, can you unmute yourself, please?
He's having some connection issues.
Okay, all right. So
maybe we can proceed here.
All right. Okay. Hi, Tara. So, all right. So, so let us proceed and let us hear from the global experience, the regional experience in adopting standardized packaging from no other than a very strong tobacco control advocate, a public health advocate, the regional Asia Pacific director of the International Union Against Tuberculosis and Lung Disease, the union, and the board director of Asia Pacific Cities Alliance for Health and Development, APCAT, Dr. Tara Singh Baum. Dr. Tara Singh Baum, welcome. Over to you now.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you, Bobby and the team. First of all, it's a really great pleasure to congratulate the Ministry of Health, Myanmar, for this very, very, the important and very public and significant the policy adoption in tobacco control, that is the plain packaging or standardized packaging. We have our Deputy Director General, sir. You are our really great public health leaders, and the team that you have, wonderful team supporting you for this whole process of, not only this area but in many other areas in the public health programs. So first of all, I would like to thank you. Special thanks and congratulations to you, sir, and your whole team. As Bobby just mentioned, despite this challenging time, Myanmar, under your leadership as a technical department, so you sustain the agenda of tobacco control. You sustain the tobacco control as a key public health the intervention in Myanmar. So this is really inspiring for all of us, and we are really motivated of the achievement that Myanmar has made in this whole tobacco control process. Again, so it's a really great achievement. Thank you and congratulations to the whole team of Ministry of Health. Let me give you just a quick, I'm not going to provide any of the details, but just overview here. Tobacco packaging, as just the Bobby mentions, like it's a vehicle, it's a mobile billboard that promote the the tobacco and also promote the consumption in our community. So this is really one of the key instrument for tobacco industry to market the deadly product. With the advertising now, we can see, including in Myanmar, at the global level, in many countries, I think in many countries, the tobacco advertising, promotions, and sponsorship is almost banned. So, but that's why the tobacco industry see their pack or the packaging as a vehicle or as a tool the strategy to market their product to our community, especially among the teenagers and the children. So, if we strip back the decoration, the clause, and the misleading elements of the tobacco packaging, actually you are left with a little more than a box of deadly addictive the products, that kills, as we know, over 7 million people each year at the global levels, and many more people are suffering from the tobacco-related disease. And we can say, it's a really battle. It's a big fight, and also big challenge as well for all of us. It's a matter of actually the disease and the death, or life and death. So plain packaging, I think most of you know the plain packaging is one of the main public health intervention to disclose the tobacco industry, the tactics, how they market, how they this product in the market. So it's a plain packaging actually reveals the grim reality of tobacco products. So you know that I'm sure our Deputy Director Generals will make a more broadly the presentation about the plain packaging. Just in summary, plain packaging or the standard packaging, comprises the measures to restrict the prohibit the use of logos. That is the main part. The companies always promote their the logos. And if you ask in our settings, when your children or the young adult, when they see the logo, they realize that this is tobacco product. So that's why this is one of the main features of the plain packaging that bans or prohibits the prints of the logos. And colors, brand image, promotional information they use, like the light, ceiling, the different types of promotional the message on the pack. So actually it bans all this type of the features. The key objectives of the whole plain packaging or standardized the packaging is actually to reduce the attractiveness of the tobacco products. So I'm sure you see in our daily life is a tobacco. The products are very attractive. They are very when you see the decoration even at the point of sales, that attracts all the population, especially teenagers and the children. So it eliminates the effect of tobacco packaging as a form of the advertising and promotion, and also it's increased the noticeability that people can see clearly the health warning and all, and then of course when people notice this, and it has a bigger impact to really convince or encourage the smoker to quit smoking, or to prevent the youth initiations, and also build a wider public awareness about the danger of tobacco use. So that's why I pick the plain packaging and the larger graphic health warnings are really effective. And as for the WHO Article 11 and the FCTC Article 11 and 13 really recommends to go for the plain packaging to their member for the state. Let's say at the global levels, currently, if you look at the progress, as for the WHO Global Tobacco Epidemic Report 2021, presents that almost more than actually 100 countries already implementing larger graphic health warnings on tobacco packs. So that is, you can see the progress since 2007, and now in 2007 only there were 9 countries implementing larger graphic health warning. Now we have more than 100 countries. At the global levels, in terms of plain packaging, 21 countries, including now Myanmar, as now they have the national notification, national rules or policies for the plain packaging. And then, there are some countries are still in process, and some of the countries have made the political commitment. So it means that there is a growing interest, because the evidence that we have so far from many other countries implementing the plain packaging suggests that these are really effective to build the public awareness, to motivate the smoker to quit, to prevent the youth and the teenagers smoking. So that's why plain packaging is one of the main intervention in tobacco control. So you can see in our the regions in ASEAN and also in Southeast Asia, Thailand, Singapore, and Myanmar now have the plain packaging policies, and Thailand and Myanmar, the Singapore already implemented. So the Myanmar is implementing in near future. The impact, I think this is really important. Australia was the first country that implemented the plain packaging in 2012, and the lesson that we have learned, it's really effective to contribute to reduce the overall smoking prevalence in adults group. So if you look at in 2001, the smoking prevalence among the adults 18 plus, it was about 20%, like a daily smoker. Now in 2019, it reduced to 11%. So it means when the Australian government introduced the plain packaging in 2012, you can see they introduced 2012. After 1 year, there was a big survey in 2013. So you can see the big jump, big decline from 15% to 13%. It's more than the 2% decline in overall smoking prevalence among adults. And then now it's of course it's around the 11%. So this is something like a good evidence from Australia. And this again from Australia as well. This is among the young adults from 15 to 24 years old. It suggests that if you look at the prevalence of daily smoking among this the young adults, it was in 2001 it was 20%. Now it's dropped to 6.4% as per the data 2019. So this shows that the plain packaging, larger graphic health warnings, and the comprehensive tobacco control is really effective, as Australia is implementing for a long time. So some health warning in Asia Pacific and opportunities. I would like to say, to look, if you look at on the left side, there are 5 countries implementing the best practices now, including Myanmar, the plain packaging that is in tobacco control. So New Zealand, Thailand, Australia, Singapore, and Myanmar. And there are some countries they are implementing the larger graphic health warning, including Timor-Leste, Nepal, Maldives, Hong Kong, India, Sri Lanka, Brunei, Laos. These countries are implementing larger graphic health warnings. But there are still big challenges for the effective implementation of these policies that's on the grounds. And there are some countries in ASEAN, in our region, Malaysia, Cambodia, Philippines, Vietnam, Bangladesh, implementing the more than 50% or 50% graphic health warning on tobacco packs. So all of these countries have an opportunity, can learn from the Myanmar to go for the plain packaging straightforward. And you can see at the right side, at the corner, Indonesia is the largest country in ASEAN, and it has the significant the number of population there, and also significant the number of smoker in Indonesia is over 61 million smoker only in Indonesia. So, but the country is implementing only 40% pictorial health warning on tobacco packs, and they are implementing this since 2014. So, I think Indonesia can learn a lot of things from other ASEAN countries, especially from the Myanmar, about these the plain packaging and the larger graphic health warnings. So, I would suggest here to the media colleagues, please, when you frame any story, frame this also from the perspective of your country and the link with the Myanmar the success story, so that every country can learn from each other from the good things that is happening in many countries, especially in our region, the Myanmar, Singapore, Thailand. In conclusions, again, I would like to say plain packaging is one of the best public health interventions that builds the wider public health awareness and also contributes significantly to reduce the smoking prevalence. and plain packaging also, there is, again, as I mentioned earlier, is a tobacco product. PAC is one of the key vehicles for the tobacco industry to market their products. So once if the country implements the plain packaging, that actually reduce the appeal of the tobacco products, increasing the efficacy or effectiveness of health warnings, and reducing the ability of the product and its packaging to mislead actually the consumers to have about harmful effects of tobacco use. So these are some quick, the highlights. I'm happy to take some question at the end. So now I would like to hand over to Bobby. Bobby.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tara Singh Baum. Friends, if there is any burning question, we can take the question now, or we can wait and hear from Myanmar experience and then take the questions towards the end. If there is any burning question, clarification for Dr. Tara Singh Baum, this is the right time, or we can wait till towards the end. All right, so let us hear. So thanks a lot, Dr. Tara Singh Baum, again, and very important to know that plain packaging has shown demonstrated evidence in over 21 countries, and more evidence will be coming in. And Dr. Tara Singh Baum's appeal to other countries where plain packaging is not adopted yet, that they should, see the model and the experience of Myanmar and other nations which have implemented plain packaging, and consider implementing plain packaging. This is such an important time to strengthen tobacco control and public health measures while the world reels through a public health emergency. Let us hear now what happened in Myanmar, and we are very honored to have Dr. Jong Kan Kwang. Sorry, sir, if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, but we have tremendous respect for you and your leadership on tobacco control, even in crisis times in Myanmar, and setting a very positive precedence for other nations. So Dr. Kwang is a medical doctor specializing in public health. He is currently serving as the Deputy Director General of Non-Communicable Diseases Control Unit under Ministry of Health of Myanmar. Since 2018, he has been leading the Non-Communicable Diseases Department at the ministry and successfully collaborating with various stakeholders in reducing the burden of non-communicable diseases in Myanmar. So Dr. Kwang, you're welcome, and we look forward to hearing more from you on Myanmar experience in adopting the landmark standardized packaging. Over to you, sir.
Yes, good afternoon and good morning. So it is my great pleasure to be here in this press conference to explain about the journey to the plain packaging. I may share the slide. So as you all know that the Myanmar, as other country, we had the high burden of the NCD, and we have according to the 2014 state survey, we have the high prevalence of the smoking and the smokeless tobacco in our country. And also the mortality and morbidity from the non-communicable diseases as a leading cause of death in our country. And also according to the GYTS survey 2016, there's the 1 in 3 students exposed to the tobacco smoke, and 3 in 10 are exposed in the public place. And as in line with the other country and the WHO, the global NCD agenda, Myanmar has now implementing the national strategic plan for preventing or control of the NCD. And so also we pay attention for the tobacco control target, and even in the service delivery in the primary healthcare level. And the NSP has targeted that to reduce the smoking prevalence and 5% in 2021 as compared to the baseline in 2010, and also another 10% in 2025. So also we conduct the Myanmar investment case study for the tobacco, and I will not be going into detail too much that the tobacco use siphon the Myanmar charts 2.62 trillion, that is the 3.3% of the Myanmar GDP in the year 2016. And as you all know, the Myanmar is, we officially started tobacco control in the year 2000. And at that time, the National Head Committee principally agreed the provision of the WHO FCTC at its 34th meeting in 2002. And Myanmar began the signatory of the FCTC in 2003 and ratified it on 2004, and it began the 11 members of this convention. And in our country, tobacco control law has been enacted in the year 2006. And this is Tobacco Control Committee was formed in March 2002 since the highest authority. Then chaired by the ministry or head, minister or head as members and related departments and NGOs, and we have originated in May 2019. And based on this provision of the WHO FCTC, we are now in the tobacco control according to the 2006 Act. And Myanmar Pretoria had one niche of tobacco product has been started in 2016. And this year is the 5th round of the Pretoria had one inch that Darasin mentioned that we are the 75% of the Pretoria had one inch for the tobacco product. This is the start of the journey for this standard packaging of the tobacco product in Myanmar. That we conduct the multi-sectoral workshop in the development of the national tobacco control policy, strategies, and registration to renew this tobacco control law and to make the new policy for tobacco control that is conducted in the November 2019. And at that time, our former Union Minister, developmnet, is very encouraging to us, and with his leadership, we have already conducted successfully this workshop. And this has been participated by the key ministries, the WHO FCTC Secretariat, SICA, and the APCAT from Thailand. And the standardized packaging is the key recommendation and one of the prioritized actions from this workshop. And followed by the consequently, the ministry has already formed the drafting group for in April 2020 with the member from the Ministry Head, Attorney General Office, the WHO, the union, and the NGOs. And here are some of the important steps for this make a standardized packaging of the tobacco product. As I mentioned earlier, they organized a drafting group, and we draft the notification in consultation with Attorney General Office, legal experts, the FCTC, the Secretariat, and the key person, and the Convention Secretariat, and the WHO, SICA, PHS, and CSO, etc. Then we prepare policy document for any arguments, and we also finalizing and the submission to the Ministry of Head. And we process this to submit to the cabinet for the approval. And we issue notification now in the 12th October. And we have already made the public announcement where there's some articles in the newspapers. And we develop the monitoring mechanism in collaboration with the related SEDES. For that, such a kind of achievement, there's a standpoint that we prepare for that. We collect the mock assembled with the Myanmar language and the pictures, and the collection of the tobacco control laws and from the other countries, especially standardized packaging in many countries, and development of the draft standardized packaging notification in Myanmar language. And we translated also and seeking the expert comment on the working version of the standardized packaging. And we hire the experienced legal consultant for drafting the standardized packaging from outside. Here is the journey that we started the drafting group formation in 20th April, and the first legal advice by the AGO on the 12th October. And we submitted to the Attorney General Office, and we had several consultations, and we submitted the final version to the Security, Peace, Law, and Enforcement Committee. That is one of the highest level committee making the decision in our country. We submitted to that committee on 31st August. And after that, the passing from this, the committee, we submitted again to the cabinet on 6th October 2021. And within a week, we get the permission for that. And in that case, we have to congratulate Dr. Myanmar, who has been working very hard for this, drafting all the things, and Dr. Yefyo and our colleagues, and my senior, the Deputy Director General, Dr. Chenin, and so also for that, we can now issue the notification by the Minister Head on 12th October 2021. Although this is a Myanmar notifications, So, and you may be available this in the English language now. We in working together with the People Foundation for the notary translation. Here is the strength for its make happens. There's full commitment from the government and strong leadership by the union ministers, former union minister, and the current minister. And the existing tobacco control law prevail for this make it event, and the technical support from the WHO, FCTC, SECAR, and GCTD, GTC, and the union. And we have a success story from we learned success story from the Australia, Thailand, and Singapore. Although there are so many strengths, we still have, as you all know, that we have so many challenges. Here in the country, this is current situation is a political instability and the crisis in the country, and as consequently, there's a weakness in the HR for the tobacco control. And that maybe we have to try again to get the monitoring and supervision of the tobacco control according, and also the implementation of this standard packaging. We have to struggle this. And the current situation, sensation, and the policy of the UN agency, we nearly lack of the coordination and cooperation from the partners, but except the union and the others, the partners for the tobacco control. And thank you very much in that part, the union, for your continued support, and especially to the Tarasin and colleagues. And there's so many things, people, staff work from homes, stay at home, and the other COVID-19 restriction due to the pandemic. And we have the time limitation for switch from the current 5th round. Currently, we are the time to give the 6th round or the notifications if we not be able to issue this, adopted this standard packaging notification. We have to continue with the 6th round or the Victoria Hetwani. So we had a very limited time duration to switch from the 5th round to the Victoria Hetwani 6th round, or to change to the standard packaging, including this Victoria Hetwani. There are so many challenges in the time limitation. Now we successfully passed, and the government also kindly allow us for this tobacco control to make sense. These are some illustration for the design of the plain packaging that we will be announcing to the tobacco industry in coming weeks. And we highly acknowledge the FCTC, the union, SECAR, GTC, campaign for the tobacco kids, the WHO, People Foundation, who are working together with us very closely, and the former our union minister, the developmnet. So thank you very much, and I'm ready to answer any the question from that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kong, and such an important presentation for all of us to understand the journey of Myanmar in adoption of the historic plain packaging. So friends, now this is a great time for you all to please raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask questions. Dr. Kwong from Myanmar, as well as Dr. Tara Singh Pam, all are available. If there are any questions, please go ahead. So Dr. Kong, there's a question for yes, from Shubha, and she's asking that will plain packaging be also implemented on all forms of tobacco like e-cigarettes and other products like ends in Myanmar? And Dr. Tara Singh perhaps can take the second part in other countries like Australia, Singapore. What's the international experience? Over to you both.
Yes, thank you for this very important question. Currently, we are not intending to use this plain packaging notification for the e-cigarette because the law is not favoring for control of the e-cigarette in our country. So that's why we are trying at the same time to amend the mother law. this, as I already mentioned, the 2006 law, we need to modify, and we need to maybe replace with so many articles to be adapted in from the FCTC articles to the current 2006 law. So the short question is no to e-cigarette currently.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Kong. Dr. Tara Singh Baum, what's the international experience of plain packaging?
Like for example, yeah, our deputy DG just mentioned. So e-cigarette is again is a novel, right? It's a new things, and many countries have already implemented the plain packaging for the conventional cigarette. For example, in case in Singapore, the e-cigarette is completely banned. So there is no point, right, to think about this plain packaging and all. So it's a ban. It's ban to use, a ban to import and export. All is completely banned here, right? Australia, I don't have much information, but I don't think they have implemented the what you call the plain packaging on e-cigarettes. No more information, but there is a debate now. I can see, the recently, the WHO FCTC, the pre-COP meeting, there are the discussion how to handle these issues, whether, there are two views, whether we go for complete ban or whether we go for just to regulate this. This is still there is a hot issue, it's a debate. I think that is something like in the future we need to think how can we address with the best ways, as per the country's need. I think the country can decide whether it's ban. If ban, that is the best option. Then we don't need to think about advertising. Anything is a ban, is a complete ban. But if country decide to go to regulate this, and they have to think definitely to ban all types of promotional advertisement, including the labeling and health warning on cigarettes.
Right. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Dr. Tara Singh Baum. Very important points from both of our experts here. And let's hope the countries go for the ban on e-cigarettes and any other new kind of tobacco products. As FDA has also recommended it, I think in August, that the countries where it has not been introduced, they should not introduce it because of the evidence, emerging evidence against these new forms of new tricks of tobacco industry. So there are very important questions coming up from different people, but probably raising the similar thing. Like Fauzi Bakri has asked, is there any tobacco industry interference during developing plain packaging regulation? Rita Vidyadana, she was the editor of the Jakarta Post and a senior journalist from Indonesia. She asked that during the process featuring this plain packaging, do you face any challenge from any party, including the big tobacco industry or other parties that may oppose to this policy? And Ayu Swan Devi has also asked a similar important question, that during this journey, she congratulates Myanmar for this great achievement and says that during the journey to plain packaging, did you experience any opposition or tobacco industry indifference? The experience of Australia is in front of us, Uruguay we know. So, so Dr. Kong, can we hear from you? What was industry trying to delay, defeat the process? Dr. Baum, you can also chip in. Over to you both.
Yes, this is also very important questions. And for this, during the process of the development and we are luckily there's relatively no interference for the tobacco industry in our country. And another fact is the Myanmar can issue the code of conduct that for every tobacco industry would like to communicate with us. They have to write the permission to the ministry office, the code of conduct to speak with to contact with the government official, especially for the tobacco control, the people in the ministry. So it may also prevent for this tobacco industry interference. And so also we are lucky that this is, as I mentioned in our PowerPoint, that we are in the phase of transition from the Pretoria have one in the round, 5th round to the 6th round. So, but we make the same the delay, and also this due to the economy slowing down, the tobacco industry also asking us to extend the current 5th round of the Pretoria head warnings, and we give that extension for use of the product in the market for update. Actually, they had to start the change from the 5th to 6th round of the Pretoria head warning by December. But we usually give that the tobacco industry for the preparation time for this switch from the first one round to the another round. So we make the extension or use or the 5th round, the Pretoria warning in the market, and so we don't inform them that we will be changing to from the Pretoria warning to the standardized packaging. So we made very confidentially, and we take this advantage for that. I think at this two way we prevent us for tobacco industry interference.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Baum, would you like to add something? Or?
Actually, I don't have anything, but one thing I would like to just again, just to add, as our DG, Deputy DG just mentioned, the Myanmar has made a really good progress in not only in one area, but in many other areas. In 2020, the Ministry of Health, as just he mentioned, released the code of conduct actually to prevent the industry interference. That was the key, one of the key milestones. Because and it's well implemented within the whole government sector. So that's as he highlighted, that's one of the reasons that of course the industries are there, but the government officials seriously took that the code of conduct and then implementing and following actually in their daily life to have an interaction with the industry and other. So that's really another the great points. So for other countries here, we have to learn. That's why there are many learnings from Myanmar. So other countries also needs to have also national code of conduct, like to prevent or to really stop the industry wrongdoing in public health program.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Baum. Absolutely. So, let us hope the tobacco industry interference gets kicked off from all the countries, because that is the biggest interference, as WHO also recognized in implementation of tobacco control in the Global Tobacco Treaty. Doc Thieu who's the editor-in-chief of Health Digest Journal. I think Dr. Kwong has responded to this question, but partially. But he has asked that Ministry of Health has 5th round of pictorial warning. How many rounds are left to be switched for the plain packaging? Over to you, Dr. Kwong.
Yes, as I already explained, we will be from the 5th round to the 6th round. For this 6th round, we will be using the picture what we have already selected for the 6th round. But once we change from this the 2016, the Pretoria had warning notification. Current notification has already overwhelmed this 2016 notification. So we have to start from the beginning of the Pretoria warning, as we mentioned in the plain packaging notification. So if you thoroughly read about this, the clause and the notification, this 2016 Pretoria warning notification will be overwhelmed by this current new notification. So there may be no more the 6th round, but we will be using the picture what we selected, and this has to be used for the 3 years. The picture what we use, it is clearly mentioned in the article. How many picture has to be printed? How many picture in the each and every single stick, and how to follow in a single stick, the cigarette and the cherut, and also the local cherut, and also for the bitter, the tobacco, in the bitter chewing, such kind of thing, and so also the notification has to be applied to each and every the tobacco product. And this may be in this the cylinder shape, the packaging, or this may be in a flat position, a flat shape, or something like that for the tobacco leaf. So all has to be applied. So I'm sorry today I cannot share this in English version, and as soon as we will be transferring this the legal the notary translation to all the partners. So in this we are clearly mentioned about that. So I think I've already answered Dr. Tintre the question.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Pong, for explaining it. So there are a lot of congratulations coming in for you, Dr. Kwang, for the Myanmar's adoption of the plain packaging. Totally so due. Dr. Tara Singh Bob, there is a question for you from Rita Vidyadana. She has from Indonesia. She has asked the relation between plain packaging and reduction in smoking prevalence is evident. However, in countries as complex as Indonesia, it may take years to convince the government and lawmakers, given such a huge influence of giant tobacco industry in Indonesia. So what do you make of it? Your comments.
Yeah, thank you, Rita. I think this is really a great question. Actually, I don't have the straightforward answer. But as per the learning from many other countries and working closely for a long time in Indonesia with the governments and the non-government sector, complex industry, and I would say Indonesia is not a complex country. It's a really a great the country where any developments can be made, because it's a well decentralized country. Politically, it's established, and then at the sub-national, national level, there are really great leaders. And country is actually the leading both in terms of the the developments and in other area in ASEAN and globally. It's a part of the G20. It's a really it's a country that can offer many good public health intervention to its people. So the only one thing that Indonesia has to do, there is a political commitment for public health. I'm very much sure there is, but the country, the government has to isolate the tobacco industry from the government's public health policy making implementation. That is really, really important. And it is very critical. It is very urgent as well, because as I mentioned earlier, Indonesia only in our region is a 61 million, the smoker, they live only in Indonesia. Over 200,000 people die due to tobacco-related disease each year. So it's a really big disaster for Indonesia. So if I translate these things, as an opportunity, of course, Indonesia has a great opportunity to really advance the tobacco control as quickly as possible. So now, as the doctor, the deputy DG just mentioned, the COVID-19, they are working from home. There are many limitations. There are many challenges, but they work silently and come up with the very good the policies now in place. So Indonesia also can do the same thing. There are many things are now ongoing. The Minister of Health is very dynamic, but what he has to do, he has to bring this agenda to the president. Okay, look, so there, I would say political commitment is there, but that commitment needs to be translated into action for tobacco control. And tobacco industry should be isolated for any policy discussion and also policy implementation process, because they are not the healthy industry. They are unhealthy industry. Government must think twice before they invite them as a collaborator. They should not be part of the whole policy discussion. I think I would say like that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Baum. So moving on, we have a question from Deni WK, and the question is that to Dr. Wang, that when this regulation will be implemented, and by when can we see the plain packaging in the market? And Deni has added that from other countries, we learned that sometimes government give more time to industry to adopt to the new regulations. So Dr. Kong, over to you.
Yes, we have clearly mentioned in this notification that we have the adopted we have issued this plain packaging notification for Myanmar by the date it is 12 October this year 2021. So we have the grace period and for to enact this, the notification the 180 days. So this 180 days will be the start in the 2022 11 April. So after this 180 days, this plain packaging notification will be enacted. And but we also give the transition time to continue selling of this the current product in the market for the 90 days. So we give the same the time for the preparation for this and so also. But if the tobacco industry, they have now this is the time they has to prepare for the next cycle of the Pretoria Hawani. So for 6 years, so it has to be replaced by the plain packaging. So it they comply in very fast way as and in the grace period. The new product will be seen in April 2022, the 12 April 2022. But we will be giving the time. It's some product due to the economy. Maybe I think they will discuss with tobacco industry. Will discuss with us, but we will be giving the time for them. Or it's called as you all know that this is the global the pandemic. So all the economy has been already in the downtrend. So we will be the and we will be, but it has to be according to the notification timeline.
Thank you, Dr. There's another question from Nepal. Padam Raj Joshi is senior journalist there and edits the health magazine. So Padam Raj has asked that you mentioned political instability and crisis in your country. What initiatives do you have to implement plain packaging in this scenario?
Yes, this is very interesting question. And actually, this we have the working very hard. We have several rounds of the consultation for each and every version of this the plain packaging notification. My colleagues now she is now now anyway in her home at the Myanmar, and ourselves, our team has to be sit all the time together. Sometimes they stay midnight to make it happen, to draft this, to reach the final draft to be submitted to the Attorney General Office. We have done so much, and after that we cannot make a delay or we cannot lose whatever we already make the draft, and so my colleagues also and myself, we have to go together to the Attorney General Office so many times, explain them from the responsible person from the AGO office. And the current we are lucky that the current the government is very keen to implement the NCD prevention control, and so also they understand that the tobacco is one of the big major risk factors for NCD, and also that's why without having any hesitation, but we have to explain to our union minister, but because the union minister has to be defend in the cabinet and as well as there's a peace and stability committee. So currently the government is in the ministry are in working according to the administrative structure. So we fit all the things what the each and every detailed message of what is the plain packaging notification, what is mean by that, and what will be affected from this notification. We closely explain to we had the good opportunity to explain to our union minister, and the union minister relayed this message to this committee and the cabinet. So that is, although we have so many challenges in the service delivery, but this such a kind of the what do you call the development of the law and the issuing, the adopting the notification is not the hard for the current situation. So that's why we can announce and we can issue within a short period of time. But from our side, we have to put a lot of efforts to continuously monitoring, following up the progress day by day. In that point, I would like to say very big thanks to the Dr. Yefyo, who is now together with me, and he was working closely for that. But all the raw material are totally developed by the Myanmar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kong, for helping us understand, what happened in progress of progressing towards pictorial plain packaging from pictorial warning, and even in these crisis time. So all the best to you. And there is a question from Kalpana Acharya. She is the editor-in-chief of Health TV Online from Nepal, and she has asked that question, how political commitment affects implementation of tobacco law. And the question is for Dr. Tara Singh Baum. So Dr. Tara Singh Baum, an important question.
Yes, again, it's a very important question.
Go ahead.
Just I would like to refer to our GYTS, Dr. Zhu. What he just mentioned, I think that is the political commitment. Even he mentioned several times the minister, even the previous minister. Look at from that perspective. If ministers is committed, the whole system is in function. And you can see how confident as a technical, the team, how confident he is to deliver the message clearly to everyone now. So that is actually the political commitment, the leadership. The minister cannot go everywhere every time. The minister ensures the system there in place. Minister ensures the resources. Minister offers the authorities to the technical department and team. I think that is the more about the political commitment. But I can understand Kalpana ma'am's the question. So if you look at in the Nepal context, I observe it's not happening. What is happening in Myanmar? Very the opposite. The political commitment in Nepal at the point that we can see there is a good legislation, good policies, but they are not implemented. Why? Because the political commitment not for the people, not for the public health, the political commitment for the tobacco industry. So that's why the things are not happening. So we have to really differentiate, political commitments. Now we have to come up. People say, oh yes, there is a political commitment, but political commitment for industry or political commitment for public. That is so in Nepal, I would say political commitment is there, but for tobacco industry, but not for the public. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tara Singh Baum. A very important statements from both of you, and this is great that we probably let's conclude the press conference as it's almost here all the time. That political commitment is so important. I am reminded of Dr. Richard Horton, the editor-in-chief of the Lancet, the reputed medical journal. He had said several years ago that politics is the ultimate determinant of health. And what he meant was exactly what Dr. Tara Singh Baum has said. A political commitment for the industry, for things which harm the population, or for health and the development. So let's hope what Dr. Baum and Dr. Kong has shared here. Let's hope it gets more implemented more widely as soon as possible, because tobacco is such a preventable disaster for development, as not only just for health. And with these words, I will hand it over to Sabita Karapan. She's a technical officer at the International Union Against Tuberculosis and Lung Disease, the Union Asia Pacific Office, and also APCAT Secretariat, the Asia Pacific Cities Alliance for Health and Development. Over to you, Sabita. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Bobby. So I'd just like to quickly wrap up our session today. Thank you very much for joining this press conference to celebrate this important public health milestone in Myanmar's tobacco control journey. And today we've had media allies joining us from Myanmar, Indonesia, India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. And I would like to also direct your attention to the chat box where I have already shared the press release. So you can download it from there. But I will also, following this session, be sending the press release to your emails, and I will use the emails that you have logged into this Zoom today. So look out for that. And feel free to share it with your networks and anyone else that would be interested to learn about this important event. Any further questions, don't hesitate to contact me or Dr. Tarapi. Our contacts are on the press release. So, and if you have any follow-up questions for our speakers, Dr. Tara and Dr. Joe, please just send us an email and we can also put you in contact with them and answer any more questions that you may think of. So thank you very much for joining the press conference, and I wish you all a good rest of the week. And congratulations once again to Myanmar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
congratulations to all of the whole team of
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.